So, if you're not familiar with the Nick Rekieta stuff, Nick Rekieta, like, who the f is Nick Rekieta? Nick Rekieta is a law tuber. He kind of pioneered the whole live reacting to court cases. He gained a lot of notoriety through the Kyle Rittenhouse and the Johnny Depp case. And then he started doing panels where he would have a whole bunch of lawyers on these panels and they'd all live react together to some of these cases. And it ended up being super successful for him. He was at one point like the top super chat earner on YouTube. So he gained a lot of success from that. And then about 2 years into his streaming, he started, or 2 years ago, he started getting more informal on his streams. And his streams started to take more of a turn where he would like drink on stream. He would talk on stream. People who originally were interested in his content were concerned about this change in behavior, right? Yeah, he was the king of LawTube and Super Chats. And yeah, people were concerned, but basically he told people to f off. And then he continued to do his drinking, and then people were suspecting drug use. There were rumors of him and his wife swinging, and he certainly didn't help with those rumors. And then most recently, I mean, obviously, also he was doing like the whole Baldo thing. There were allegations of him using his locals to talk to women outside of his marriage and all of that. And yeah, he just kind of like seemed to turn into kind of like a. So now he's the king of locals, according to himself. I'm out. Yeah. He called anyone who showed concern incel prudes. Yeah. And it's unfortunate because I'm pretty sure there were a lot of people who were big fans of him who expressed concern. And I think they were, you know, this is somebody who like talked about not wanting his kids to be in public school because he didn't want them to be taught by perverts. So that's a thing. And, you know, lo and behold, this dude is doing all this stuff in his own house. Sorry. Okay. So yeah, so all that's being speculated upon. Then most recently, I can't recall exactly how long ago, maybe a month or so ago, he was arrested. Police had a warrant to search his house. They found over 25 G's of cocaine in his house. They found ketamine pills in his house. The reason that this search happened is because a mandated reporter, the pastor of the church that his children went to the police station early one morning and reported that there was possible child neglect going on. Reports of the kids being hungry, wearing the same clothes for 3 to 4 days at a time, giving off an odor. And so, yeah, the pastor was concerned, and he went and he did his mandatory reporting. And a week later, the police show up. They raid the house. They stop Rekieta as he's leaving the house. And Rekieta is given the warrant. He throws it on the ground. One of the kids who opens the door to the police doesn't let them in, so they end up using a battering ram to break down the door. And they search, they bring all the kids out. They found those 25 G's of cocaine, the ketamine pills, they found paraphernalia, they found 2 G's of cocaine just on the nightstand. April, who is married to, or was married to, another content creator, was also staying at the house. Kayla and April, I think, were asleep. So it's like a whole thing. And then, yes, there was the arraignment, the live stream. Everybody, the link to that got leaked, so everybody was joining in on that live stream. And sorry, just a second. So everybody's joining in on that live stream. I think the judges were, or the judge and the court staff were a bit overwhelmed. That was very funny to see, though. And I ended up arguing with Dick Masterson. Some of you may have come over from that. But that's essentially what's been happening. Zoom callers called Nick the N-word and the K-word. Yeah, geez. The poor judge. The judge was so overwhelmed. Hi, Chanri. How's it going? Hi, Deep Sea Monster. Totally off topic, but whatever eyeshadow you used is incredible. Love the shimmer. Thank you. I'm using a broken NYX palette right now. Yeah, and given that, you know, Dick Masterson has been going so hard in defense of Nick Rekieta, unfortunately, or fortunately, I don't know. I don't have any, like, feelings towards any of these people. But unfortunately, now he has been a huge subject, and a lot of people are diving into his life. But yeah, there's a lot of suspicion that the reason why Dick Masterson is going so hard for Nick Rekieta is, you know, obviously, one, he is a libertarian himself, and he takes that libertarianism to its extreme. And two, People are speculating that maybe he might have been the one supplying some of those drugs. I don't want to make that allegation. I don't know anything about it, but I'm just telling you guys that that's one of the things I've heard. So there was some I watched a stream the other day, and there was some pretty devastating stuff that was revealed about Dick Masterson and his relationship. And I can't even, it was like somebody was reading some messages that, like, Masterson's current girlfriend was sending to another woman about wanting to have kids and her being 35 and still not having them. And now she's like 40. And don't get me wrong, you can still have kids at 40, but you're kind of stretching your time, you're kind of like, it's like, it's super sad. Talk about Juju the cow. I don't even know enough about Juju the cow. I just know I was listening to that and I was like, damn, that is heartbreaking, because they were like in a threesome or whatever, and this woman didn't want to share her man, which is, completely understandable. So yeah. So I don't know. I learned that yesterday. That was super sad. But yeah, she was like lamenting about being 35 and still not having a kid and still not being married. And now, yeah, she's like 40. Yeah. Anyways, is it true Dick, a mentally handicapped woman? I don't know about, but there's a whole lot going on there. I can't even get started with the Eric July, Riley getting arrested, mint salad, all that. I don't know anything about that. So anyways, moving on. And it would be great if my webcam showed. Okay, so moving on. So if you guys remember, one of the things that people kept saying when all this news came out is that, like, oh, if there was really child neglect, why isn't, Child Protective Services involved? That was one of the things I kept hearing echoed over and over again when all this info came out, and there were charges of child neglect and all these other things, right? All these other charges being levied. People are like, oh, if there really was child neglect, why isn't Child Services involved? Well, turns out there was. Turns out there was Child Services involved, as I suspected. So, KCHHS released records concerning the welfare of Nick Rekieta's children. The records show Nick and Kayla Rekieta made no legal motion to intervene to get their kids back and haven't submitted to drug tests. Also, their 9-year-old daughter tested positive for cocaine. And very true. Upvote the stream, y'all. Very true, very true. Thank you, Keldoge. And guys, go check out Keldoge. Keldoge is also a streamer, baby streamer, but a streamer nonetheless, and, does stream things. So yeah, this is horrible. It's horrifying. Okay, so let's read this together, okay? Let me open this image in the next tab. Okay, that's way too big. Okay. In the matter of the welfare of the children of Kayla Rekieta and Nicholas Rekieta, parents. Findings of fact, conclusions of law, and order following a joint emergency protective care hearing and admit/deny hearing. The above entitled matter came before the undersigned judge of District Court on June 6, 2024 at the Kandiyohi County Courthouse, Wilmar, Minnesota. Present at the hearing were the following: Kirsten Pierce, Assistant Kandiyohi County Attorney; Rachel Molesbury, Assistant Kandiyohi County Attorney; Alicia Sweep, Kandiyohi County Health and Human Services; Don Weber, Attorney at Law with and for Nicholas Rekieta; John Mueller, Attorney at Law with and for Kayla Rekieta; Carter Griner, Attorney at Law with and for and Kirsty Barber, guardian and litem. I don't know what that means. The foster parents also appeared. All parties and participants appeared in person. At the beginning of the joint emergency protective care hearing and admit/deny hearing, the court met the requirements for hearing procedure outlined in MIM RJuv P proceeding 46.03. Guardian ad litem is a lawyer for the kids. Okay, interesting. Okay. Yeah, see, I don't know all these law terms. Thank you. So, subject matter. The children are the subjects of the petition are Rekieta, male, A, Rekieta, male, Rekieta, female, Rekieta, female, Rekieta, female. Anyways, venue is proper in Kandiyohi County because the children reside in this county. Parentage. Kayla Rekieta is the mother of the minor children. Nicholas Rekieta is the father of the minor children. Miss Rekieta and Mr. Rekieta are married, and they have joint legal and physical custody of the children. Wait. The lawyer who lied about and hid the origin of his wealth is a libertarian. Jokes, but I didn't know for real. GAL will determine what is best interest for the kids. GAL will conduct a full investigation of the kids' life with the parents. Okay. The 16-year-old is the only one old enough to speak on their own behalf in court, if I recall correctly. Okay, a petition. A CHIPS petition was filed May 24th, 2024. The alleged statutory grounds listed in the CHIPS petition are incorporated herein by reference. Prima facie finding child protection matter. I believe prima facie, I don't know if I'm saying it right. I believe prima facie is referencing like reasoning, but I could be wrong on that. I'm not a lawyer. The court previously found that the petition establishes a prima facie showing that a juvenile protection matter exists and the children are the subjects of that matter. Prima facie finding regarding endangerment. The court previously found that the petition establishes a prima facie showing that the children's health, safety, or welfare would be immediately endangered if the children were released to the care of the parents. That's, that's pretty fair. Okay, and then it's just so hard to read here. Mr. Rekieta and Ms. Rekieta each personally served with the summons and petition on May 28th, 2024. Okay, yeah, they were both served. Okay. Motion to intervene. No motions to intervene were made. ICWA, the Protection of the Indian Child Welfare Act, do not apply to this case. McKenna's Law. The court provided the McKenna's Law advisory to and representation. The parents were previously advised of the right to be represented by counsel on the record as required by Rule 36, and the parents were each represented by an attorney at the hearing. Ex parte hold and order for hearing. The children were placed on a law enforcement hold. The date of the removal is May 23rd, 2024. The facts that warranted the removal of the children from the caregiver on an ex parte emergency basis are as follows. On May 23rd, 2024, law enforcement officers from the Kandiyohi County Sheriff's Office executed a search warrant at the family residence. During the search, narcotics and drug paraphernalia were located. The parents were placed under arrest, and the law enforcement officers placed the children on a law enforcement hold. Continued EPC hearing. An emergency protective care hearing was scheduled to be held May 28th, 2024. At that time, the parents motioned to continue the hearing for good cause. The court found good cause to continue the EPC hearing to protect the rights of the parties. Okay, I think we get into the heavy stuff here. Testimony. The court received testimony from I think her Alicia Sweep, that's her name, yes. The court received testimony from Alicia Sweep, Kirsty Barber, and Robert Rekieta. All witnesses were placed under oath prior to providing testimony. Exhibits. The court received the following exhibits. Exhibit 001, drug testing of the parents. Exhibit 002, drug testing of the children. Protective care determination. All parties and participants were offered the opportunity to cross-examine petitioner regarding the ex parte filings. After receiving additional facts, the court determined that protective care shall continue. The court makes the following explicit and individualized findings in support of continued placement. Okay, what does ex parte mean? I see ex parte meaning. So ex parte, done with the respects or in the interest of one side only of an interested outside party. With respect or in the interests of one side or of an interested outside party. I guess that's their meaning in the interest of the children. It's not the court, it's a person. Oh, a private meeting, okay. Okay, KCHHS received a report involving Mr. Rekieta and Ms. Rekieta on May 23rd, 2024. The report was that law enforcement was going to the home of Mr. Rekieta and Ms. Rekieta to execute a search warrant. So it looks like Health and Human Services was involved from the moment that this search was being executed, or maybe but right prior to the search being executed. Upon executing the search warrant, the law enforcement officers found over 26 grams of cocaine, ketamine, drug paraphernalia, firearms, and ammunition in the home. Ms. Sweep went to the family house while the search was ongoing. At that time, she learned that the home was very cluttered. It was difficult to walk around the home without stepping on clothing, bedding, or blankets. Oh, sorry, I'm not going to say their names. Child 1, Child 2, Child 3, Child 4 were present at the home when Miss Sweep arrived. The 16-year-old was not present. I could have sworn the kids were with the maternal grandmother. Like, it might still be, I mean, I might be wrong, but that's what I heard, that the kids were with the maternal grandmother and maybe foster care. Generally, the way that it works is with Child Protective Services, they don't want to split up families. So you said that they think the grandparents were also licensed foster parents. Yeah, I think so. Allegedly, CPS didn't find the grandparents' home wasn't fit for 5 kids. CPS has custody, but they're placed with family. Okay, yeah, that's what I suspected. Yeah, when it comes to stuff like this, CPS, by all means, like any means necessary, will try to keep kids with family members over the foster care system. So, okay. After being placed out of the home, the children were subject to follicle drug testing. Okay, this is the part where it gets pretty heavy, guys, okay? So after being placed outside of the home, the children were subjected to hair follicle drug testing. All of the children except for the 9-year-old tested negative. The 9-year-old girl tested positive for cocaine at a level of over 5,000 with a cutoff of 500. Mr. and Ms. Rekieta each submitted to a hair follicle drug test through Minnesota Monitoring on May 30th, 2024. However, KCHHS has not received the results of those tests because subsequent to taking those tests, Mr. Rekieta and Ms. Rekieta revoked their release of information from MMI to KCHHS. Because the ROIs have been revoked, KCHHS has been unable to monitor the parents through additional drug testing. Yeah. Ms. Sweep went to the home on May 28th, 2024. She was allowed into the home, but she was not allowed access to the parents' bedroom. The GAL is in agreement that it is in the best interest of the children to remain out of home placement at this time. Surroundings or conditions. So on top of the 9-year-old girl testing positive for cocaine, they are saying that the surroundings or the conditions were endangering the children's health and their safety or their welfare, requiring responsibility for the children's care and custody to be immediately assumed by KCHHS. Contrary to welfare and best interests, children out of home. It is in the best interest of the children for care, custody, and control of the children to remain with KCHHS for the purpose of placement with a suitable foster care provider. Continued custody of the children by the parents is contrary to the welfare of the children. Placement proposed by KCHHS is the children's best interests. In making this finding, the court relies upon the best interest factors considered by KCHHS as set forth in the CHIPS petition, which are incorporated herein by reference. After being why is this not showing? Oh, there it is. Okay. The children to remain in foster care with the parents and children to remain in foster care. Yeah, this is it's so faded. It is in the best interest of the children to remain in foster care until the parents are able to provide a safe environment demonstrated through substantial compliance with the case plan and by correcting the conditions which have led to out-of-home placement. The placement proposed by the agency is the least restrictive and most home-like setting that meets the needs of the children. Reasonable efforts. Given the particular circumstances of the children and family at the time of the children's removals, there were no services or efforts available that could have allowed the children to safely remain in the home. Yeah. Watermelon says, thank you for the $9.99, by the way. I like to think most people would be doing whatever they could to get back custody. Not get all the state, my church, and extended family conspired against me. Still hope it's a false positive. So we'll get into that. We'll get into that because I'm hearing conflicting things on what a false positive would look like. Ex parte means with haste, the person filing, in this case, doesn't need to notify the other people and wait for them to be there. We'll get into whether this could be a false positive, okay? But there are different people saying different things. Remember, the 5,000 is measured in a different way than you would think. Yeah, this is not true, right? We'll get into it. It's I think the unit that they measured is different than what people think. So I don't know. It just seems weird to me. You're saying like, oh, how could a 9-year-old get into that, but not the 16-year-old? The way that the 9-year-old would get into the coke and not the 16-year-old is that the 9-year-old was being given it or something like that, you know? Okay, reasonable efforts. Given the particular circumstances of the children and family at the time of the children's removal, there were no services or efforts available that could have allowed the children to safely remain in the house. No, so no, it's not measured that way. I'll show you. I'll show you guys in a bit. Okay, it's really 10 times. It looks like that to you, but it's not. It's not 1,000 times or 100 times. It's 10 times what the limit is. Creations of Eden, thank you for the $10 super chat. This seems like standard foster care BS to me. Knowing how this all goes, they have a lot of time to prove their worth as parents, or otherwise, their rights are terminated legally. Yeah, it's 5,000 with 500 limit. Yeah. And it's measured differently. I have it pulled up here, okay? But we'll get there. Let me just finish reading this document, okay? All right. KCHHS is providing reasonable efforts to reunify the children with their parents and to prevent the need for further out-of-home placement. However, those efforts have been hampered by the parents because the parents have revoked ROIs, have not been submitting to drug testing, and have not allowed KCHHS full access to the home. Removal date and permanency deadlines. The children were removed from the home on May 23rd, 2024, which is 14 days in out-of-home placement. The permanency progress review hearing must be held no later than 180 days after removal, which is November 19th, 2024. If applicable, permanency petition must be filed no later than 335 days after removal, which is April 23rd, 2025. If applicable, an admit-deny hearing to determine the permanent status of the children shall be held by May 23rd, 2025, pursuant to Minnesota statute, etc. Okay, I'm not going to read all that. Admit/deny and an admit/deny hearing was held on June 6, 2024. Parents were each represented by an attorney. Parents were advised of the right to have a trial regarding the CHIPS petition, including the right to testify or question and call witnesses. Witnesses at the trial, and to require petitioner to prove at CHIPS petition by clear and convincing evidence. After consulting with counsel, the parents each entered a what is this word? Entered a Demal? What? I can't stay up much longer. Will this stream stay up as a VOD? I'd like to catch the replay. Yes, it will stay up as a VOD. Hi, staff. How's it going? Okay. Conclusions of law. I didn't do the others. Let me read the others. Protective order. The parties have agreed to a protective order for discovery. Parents have agreed to waive the timing requirement that the pretrial hearing be held at least 10 days prior to the start of the trial, pursuant to Minnesota Art Juvenile Protection P 48.01. Conclusions of law. Best interests. It is in the best interest of the children that they shall remain in the protective care of KCHHS for the purpose of placement with an appropriate licensed foster care provider. Reasonable efforts. KCHHS is providing reasonable efforts to reunify the children with their parents and to prevent the need for further out-of-home placement. However, those efforts have been hampered by the parents because the parents have revoked ROIs, have not been submitting to drug testing, and have not allowed KCHHS full access to the home. ICWA, the Indian Child Welfare Act, does not apply. Order. The children shall remain in the protective care of KCHHS for the purpose of placement with an appropriate licensed foster care provider. 2. Services, examinations, or evaluations. The following shall be provided to the child and the child's family pursuant to Rule 42.09. A. The parents shall each submit a chemical use assessment and shall follow all recommendations. B. The parents shall Abstain from the use and possession of all mood-altering substances except as prescribed by a medical professional. The parents shall each submit to chemical testing of any type at the request of KCHHS and or the GAL to verify abstinence. The parents shall sign all necessary release of information so that the service providers may share information with KCHHS and the GAL. The parents shall sign release of information from MMI to KCHHS and the GAL so that KCHHS and the GAL may monitor and verify the parents' drug testing results. HPP. KCHHS shall file an out-of-home placement plan and provide it to the parties and foster care providers within 30 days of the court order placing the children in foster care, an order for protective care, or order transferring legal custody to KCH, whichever is earliest. The out-of-home placement plan shall be filed no later than June 22nd, 2024. It was a follicle test. Yes, pretty. It was a follicle test. Okay. Family time. The terms of parental and sibling visitation pending further proceedings are: A, visitation between the parents and the children shall be supervised at a supervised safety center or supervised the KCHHS building by a member of KCHHS staff. Relative search. KCHHS shall exercise due diligence to identify and notify adult relatives of the family within 30 days after removal pursuant to Minnesota statute, whatever this is, 260 C21. The agency shall continue to appropriately involve relatives who have responded to the notice. The parents shall cooperate in providing sufficient information to identify relatives no later than 90 after placement. The agency shall report to, okay, that's the wrong one. Sorry. Shall report, sorry, give me a second here. Shall report to, and then that's the last one there. Here it is. Okay. The court, its efforts and, I can't read this word, regarding placement, can't read that word, in Minnesota State. Okay. This order shall be shared with the providers of service under the care plan. Such providers are authorized to share information with each other as necessary to carry out the interest and purpose of the case plan ordered herein. Yeah. Creations out of Eden is correct in this. When it isn't low income, it can also be used as a way to lower inhibitions in a child for exploitation. Yeah, that's the biggest thing. I talked to like medical people about this case, and I talked to medical people about specifically the finding of the 9-year-old child, you know, being positive for cocaine. And the immediate thing that I heard was like, I hope that this kid is not being, you know. So pure coke to think scumbag parents don't do this. Yeah. One of my friend's moms gave them meth at like 10. Yeah. It's really sad. I don't want to make any assumptions on this, but that is like, when you talk to any medical professional, that is going to be one of the first things that they jump to, like to make sure that this kid is not being like, or anything like that, you know? As an example, was crying at 7 years old. My mother gave me alcohol just to make me be quiet. Other children in the world are given substances by neglectful parents. At the end of the day, a follicle test of 5,000, especially for a child, is indicative of consistent consumption of cocaine, even if not a substantial amount on a daily basis. Yeah, well, you have to imagine this 9-year-old, you know, smaller body, right? Well, yeah, look, I'm not going to make the assumption of, because Nick doesn't seem the type to me, but I'm just letting you guys know that is the first thing that like medical providers will, you know, get on about if you tell them something like this. So that's like the first thing that pops into medical providers' heads, because that's what they search for. And that's like a common correlation, or not correlation, common co-occurrence with children who are on drugs. So, but I'm not going to make any assumptions on Nick, because he doesn't seem like the type to do it, but yeah. Okay. KCHHS is authorized as follows with respect to the children. A, to arrange. Okay, but that's because of his current moral panic? Absolutely not. No. When it's medical professionals? Absolutely not. No way. It's not because of moral panic. It's because of the co-occurrence, how frequently there's a co-occurrence of child and substance Okay. Anyways, KCHHS is authorized as follows with respect to the children. Okay, sorry. I got so just triggered by chat just a second ago. KCHHS is authorized for major medical care and surgery for the children in a life-threatening situation. B, to arrange appropriate routine medical and dental care for the children, including necessary immunizations and vaccinations for the children. C, to obtain the children's educational, medical, dental, psychological, psychiatric, and dental records, including mental health and chemical dependency records, if any, for the purpose of meeting the children's health needs. And D, to approve educational or mental health services for the children as needed. Nick is very lazy and hated to take care of the kids. He would constantly vent on stream about that. My bet he gave her coke because she has ADHD. Somebody else said, it's not really surprising Nick would allow their 9-year-old to cook for themselves when he was on stream, and he would bitch about having to do stuff for them. Yeah, a 9-year-old should not be cooking unattended. That's pretty ridiculous. Okay, I don't know, like, what is going on here, you know? It's crazy. Okay, to approve educational or mental health services for the children as needed. 8, pursuant to Minnesota Statute 260C.208 and a sub 2, KCHHS is specifically authorized to have access to the following data on the children: medical data, corrections and detention data, juvenile court data, court services data, health records. Providers of services to the children, including educational, medical, and mental health, are authorized to release information regarding the children to KCHHS. This order shall be after... Okay, damn, what is going on here? Are these out of order? Order shall be, okay, shared with providers of service under the case plan, and such providers are authorized to share information with each other as necessary to carry out the intent and purpose of the case plan ordered herein. It's much more common for neglectful parents and accidental consumption than I was given weed the first time, right after I turned 11, alcohol/mushrooms/pills by 12, and more later. Yeah. You know, I'm willing to bet that it most likely is just neglect, but like that is just something to keep in your head, you know, in the back of your head, obviously. But it's much more likely that this 9-year-old received cocaine out of neglect, or didn't realize what it was, or saw, you know, the grown-ups doing it and thought, okay, you know, there must be something here, and I want to do it too. And yeah, it's much more likely to be something like that, at least. But it's just something to keep in the back of your head, you know, when it's just incredibly strange to me. It's a high income family, very well off guy. Why is your 9-year-old testing positive for coke, you know? But I'm not accusing of, I'm just saying when I talk to like medical people about it, that's like usually the first thing that they are like, I hope this is not happening. So yeah. Okay. Pursuant to Rule 6 of the Rules of Juvenile Protection Procedure, this order establishes the following deadlines or specific dates for the proceedings in this matter. A, discovery. The deadline for discovery is July 15th, 2024. This includes the following: inspection and copying of documents or other tangible evidence. 2, identify the names and addresses of all persons intended to be called as witnesses at trial, and shall allow all other parties to inspect and copy such witnesses' written or recorded statements within the parties' knowledge relating to the case. 3, identify the names and addresses of all persons intended to be called as expert witnesses at trial, the subject matter about which each expert is expected to testify, and a summary of the grounds for each option to be offered. 4, the following additional pretrial preparation and discovery is authorized, and the reports from such discovery shall be completed and disclosed to other parties. 1, physical examination. 2, psychological examination. A, depositions. All proposed exhibits must be uploaded to the Minnesota Digital Exhibit System no later than July 15, 2024. Information on how to use MNDES can be found on mmcourts.gov/MMDES. Hi, Cara, how's it going? Most likely happened from them using a plate or something for lines and then the kid eating off the plate or something like that. Way more common than you think, unfortunately. I would agree with you if it weren't for the fact that the levels indicate moderate usage, you know? and the levels seem to indicate like frequent usage. Pretrial conference. The pretrial conference shall be held July 15, 2024 at 3 p.m. Parties and their legal counsel shall come to the pretrial conference prepared to determine whether a settlement of any or all issues has occurred or is possible, and to discuss the issues set forth in Juvenile Protection Rule 48.02. Trial Rule 49. Trial in this matter shall begin on July 23rd, 2024, July 24th, 2024, July 25th, 2024, or July 26th, 2024 at 8:30 a.m. The parties shall be ready to commence trial on any of the given dates. The court will try to notify the parties of the priority status 1 week prior to trial. The trial shall not be continued or adjourned for more than 1 week. And let me just reiterate, I'm not making any claims during this, okay? I'm not making any claims. I am just telling you when I've talked to other people about this, what their initial reaction was, okay? Unless the court finds that the continuance of adjournment is in the best interests of the children, the trial shall continue until completed. The trial shall be conducted pursuant to the procedure set forth in Rule 49.09, I think. Court settlement conference. Parties shall participate in a court settlement conference or other form of alternative dispute resolution. Hearing location. All hearings take place in the Kandiyohi County Courthouse, Wilmar, Minnesota. This order is subject to revision as necessary to serve the best interests of the children and the interests of justice, so long as the permanency timelines are not delayed. 18. All previous orders of the court remain in effect except as explicitly amended herein. Okay. All right. So that is the document we just got finished reading. So as you guys know, there's a lot of speculation whether this was real, right? A lot of people were speculating whether this document's even real. So yes, remember this part here. Test positive for cocaine at a level of over 5,000 with a cutoff of 500. So Null went on to verify this document. He said, I'm 100% sure that this document is true and completely original. Source, trust me, bro. So this was released right before Nick Rekieta went live yesterday. Now, the next thing I want to do is for us to go over the live stream. But first, let me pull up a couple more tweets here. Okay? Again, I will reiterate, I'm not making any allegations myself during this stream, okay? Child cocaine update. Nick Rekieta allegedly responded to allegations that his daughter tested positive for cocaine via Null, the owner of Kiwi Farms. He claims the test was faulty and tested a metabolite which exists outside of the body, suggesting the test doesn't indicate drug use. Additionally, he shared that the levels of cocaine they are suggesting his daughter had would indicate that she would be dead. Okay, so here's the message from Null. Null says, he messages me out of the blue to say two things. One, to thank me for locking his thread. Two, to deny that his child tested positive for cocaine. He claims the test is faulty. It's testing a metabolite which exists outside of the body, and also that the levels of cocaine they were suggesting she had in her would indicate that she would be dead. Now, there are people who are disputing this. Let me pull up some of these tweets that are disputing this. This one? I think this is one of them, yeah. This is from Minnesota Monitoring, the company doing the drug testing in Rekieta's case. They seem to test for benzoylecgonine and not norcocaine, the metabolite most likely to contaminate the hair from being in contact with the parent drug. Cocaine. Detection window in urine is 2 to 3 days, 7 to 10 with chronic crack users. Benzoylecgonine is the most commonly tested metabolite to detect prior use of cocaine and is a unique metabolite of cocaine. No prescription medications can cause a confirmed positive. Cocaine is a local anesthetic used in eye, sinus, and nasal cavity surgery, but would not cause a positive cocaine test. Cocaethylene is a metabolite detected in hair that is only formed when cocaine and alcohol are in a person's system at the same time. What is a hair test? The collector will cut a sample of approximately 120 to 180 strands of hair from the crown of the head. In the presence of the donor, the sample is then sealed in a collection envelope and then sealed again in a plastic security bag. The sample is then sent to our laboratory, and results are generally rendered within 1 to 3 business days. Adulteration of the hair may be attempted. Toxicology reports have stated that the adulterant may cause a slight decrease in the drug quantity. However, the drug metabolites within the hair remain unadulterated. Hair testing analyzes the hair sample for parent drugs and their metabolites. The metabolite is only produced by the body and cannot be an environmental contaminant. It takes approximately 7 to 10 days from the time of the drug use for the hair containing the drug to grow above the scalp where it can be collected. So that's what one person has shown, and this is the link to it. I have a friend of mine from work who's a recovering addict. The likelihood of her getting a positive test just because mom, say, brushed her hair after snorting it, she's like, yeah, that isn't likely. Nick didn't do anything. The 9-year-old pushed the coke on him. Jesus. Let me pull this. Oh, this is, okay. This is what was linked. And this is from, presented by Michelle Johnson, Accounts and Programs Director, Minnesota Monitoring Incorporated. Yeah, this is the company. This is the company that does the drug testing. Thank you for the $10 super chat. Creations out of Eden. If you consider if she didn't have a large quantity at once, therefore not fatal, then the moderate/medium use amount, 2,500 to 75,000, means consistent use. So no, she would not be dead. Yeah, let me see. Thank you for the $5 super chat. If you tested positive in a sober living house, you'd be booted because follicle test means consumption, not exposure. Damn. Okay, Furby coming in with the W's over here. Holy. But yeah, this is like, wow. Okay, yeah. So this person from the company that does the testing put together this whole PowerPoint. And poppy seed would not create a false positive for cocaine, seems. What they test for in the hair follicle for cocaine is not anything that would show up because of any prescription drugs. Us with dark past are going to be very useful for this stream. Yeah. The key is in the word metabolite, i.e. you have metabolized. Yes. Yeah, this is pretty damning. You know? I'm not... Yeah. Jesus Christ, dude. So I just hope these kids are okay, and I hope that girl is getting treatment, because that's just up. The part I kind of find interesting is only the 9-year-old tested positive. You'd assume they wouldn't give a shit for the rest of the kids either, unless that info will come out later. Yeah, well, it was negative for all the other kids. Hair follicle also has absurdly low false positive. Yeah, this is super up. Super up. I just want to know why, you know? And then somebody else replied to one of my tweets, actually, and I want to kind of go over this. So, standard drug testing cutoff levels. And sorry to be a nerd here, but Dick has confused picograms with nanograms, meaning his hyperbole is based on thinking the level is 1,000 times higher than it actually is. And then he linked this, okay, cocaine/metabolites is 500 pg mg. Confirmation cutoff is 500 pg mg. Okay, and then here's a link to the specific drug screening. Here's Dick tweeting about the results being 5,000 pg/mg. And other online resources, they list the cutoff level in nanograms, which is 0.5 ng/mg. So if you use the ng count for cutoff and pg for the test result, you get 10,000 times higher than 10 times higher, which it actually is. So Dick Masterson is apparently not viewing this correctly. Cutoffs may vary between different analytes. The cutoff for cocaine in hair samples, for example, is 0.5 nanograms per milligram of hair in both screening and confirmation tests. Cutoff for THC is 0.002 ng per mg of hair. For example, in a survey of over 7,000 hair samples, levels of cocaine range from 0.2 to 159.9 ng per mg of hair in 99% of samples. The range is displayed by the two drugs to reveal just how differently various drug types can be incorporated in the hair. So what this basically means is that it might look like a lot, but the way that your body metabolizes the drug shows up differently depending on the drug. So THC seems to have a much lower threshold for detecting when somebody has used marijuana, for example. Whereas when it's cocaine, the threshold is much higher. So these numbers, the the different numbers don't necessarily mean that they're taking a huge amount, you know? But thank you again for the $10 super chat. But I'm annoying. People keep saying it's a false positive, usually when they're not considering this is a child, when those are always used to determine adult false positives. Yeah. Also, yes, please like the stream. They always do a second test. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat again, Creations of Eden. Yeah. So numbers show up differently. This is not necessarily going to be like, oh, this kid is consuming crazy amounts of cocaine. It's depending on the kid's, you know, body, right? And it depends on the kids, depends on the drug and how the drug shows up after it's metabolized. So, and I think it was said somewhere that this company does multiple tests. They do a second one. Let's see. Yeah. Depends on methylation cycle too, which varies between people. Dude. Yeah. No, remember the cutoff is 500. The child tested for 5,000. That's 10 times the amount of the cutoff. So let's see. And again, remember, no prescription medications can cause a confirmed positive. So that is that is from the drug testers themselves. What is detected? What is a hair test? The collector will cut a sample of approximately 120 to 180 strands of hair from the crown of the head. In the presence of the donor, the sample is then sealed in a collection envelope and then sealed again in a plastic security bag. The sample is then sent to our laboratory, and results are generally rendered within 1 to 3 business days. Adulteration of the hair may be attempted. Toxicology reports have stated that the adulterant may cause a slight decrease in the drug quantity. So if anything, if there was anything that was going to show, you know, would have shown a slight decrease in the drug quantity. However, the drug metabolites within the hair remain unadulterated. Hair testing analyzes the hair sample for parent drugs and their metabolites. The metabolite is only produced by the body and cannot be an environmental contaminant. In my opinion, if it wasn't consumed because of the parents weren't paying attention, I wouldn't be surprised if they gave the kid coke to calm them. I think it would probably be more for the ADHD, right? It means there had to be consumption, as I said. Yeah, this is pretty straightforward here. I don't know how can there be a false positive in this? How? You know? Well, it's a hair follicle test, KB. So it'll stay, you know? It's a hair follicle test. In the hair forever, yeah. My kid is acting so hyper, I better give them some of my cocaine to calm them down. That's not how it works, Lunch Tray. Especially if it's a 9-year-old girl. Most likely if she has ADD, it's presenting in the non-hyper way, right? If you have ADHD as a female, usually for a lot of females, it presents differently than how it presents for males. For males, they get very hyperactive, very aggressive. For females, generally, they get very inattentive. They get very, you know, daydreamy, things like that. Stimulants can have a calming effect for ADHD. That is true as well. When I started on Adderall, my anxiety did decrease a decent amount. Females can also be hyperactive, though. They can be, but I'm just talking about what's most likely here, you know? So yes, this is a follicle test. The child was tested via hair follicle. How far back can a hair test detect drug use? For a head hair test, it is best to have at least 1.5 inches of growth. However, it can be done with just an inch. Keep in mind that an inch would only go back approximately 60 days, and 1.5 inches goes back approximately 90 days. You can also shorten the detection time to 30 or 60 days, or extend it out if the length allows it. Collecting body hair is an option if no head hair is present. Okay. Cocaine remains in your system for 7 to 10 days after consumption, meaning the follicle test can reveal traces even a week old. But yeah, I'll link this. This is a document that was presented by somebody who works at the specific drug company, or not drug company, drug monitoring company that tested the children and the parents. This is Minnesota Monitoring. They're referenced in that document, that court document. There are also 2 other adult goons living there. That's true. Thank you for the $1.99 super chat. Also, like I keep saying, it doesn't show up in a follicle until a week after consuming. Yeah. I don't know. It just seems like this is not a false positive. You know, it does not feel like this is a false positive. Okay, so after going over this, let's go over the Nick Rekieta stream, okay? But yeah, that's why I'm not thinking that this is a false positive, you know? Again, I'm not claiming anything in particular about Nick Rekieta or his wife or his family. I'm just saying, okay, the one thing I will say is I don't think that this is a false positive. That like it seems very, very unlikely. You're pausing a lot, Star. I'm sorry. But the reason why I'm pausing is I'm trying to reduce the amount of ums and uhs that I say. So what you do instead of doing ums and uhs is you silence. So you're going to have to deal with me having pauses and silences, okay? Until I am able to fill those spaces more effectively. Jesus Christ, I forgot about the Johnny Depp and Joker painting. Yeah, like, this is the cheesiest ever, dude. This is, like, these two paintings behind him are so indicative of his nature. So, the pauses are base Barack Gigachad Obama pauses, thank you. The Joker painting is so weird. Yeah, no, this is his new setup. Remember, he was saying that he was setting up his office to look different. He was redecorating the office. People were speculating, oh, maybe he's not in the same house. Well, he's in the same house. Seems like him and his wife are fine. Good for them. But I do have to say, these paintings are very tacky. Like, there's nothing that encapsulates Nick Rekieta's nature, his character, than his choice of paintings to hang in his office. He said he was going to stand while streaming too. Yeah, he talked about it. But this isn't to be derogatory or stereotypical, but as someone who was in a sober living, he genuinely does look like someone who is addicted and in withdrawal physically. Damn. Dude, I was carving exception for false positive from knowledge till I heard follicle test. There's no false follicle test. There can be, but it's incredibly rare, and I highly doubt it with this girl. Null said Nick Rekieta should be the study of midlife crisis. Couldn't agree more, especially the Mustang speeding. Yeah, and on top of everything, remember, he's got like a ton of like unpaid traffic citations. So, more often than not, a false positive is in urine because the content in your kidneys will mix with other substances that can create a false positive, like poppy seeds. And yeah, again, you know, it's just very concerning to me why, regardless of the fact that a child should not be on cocaine or around cocaine, period, it's concerning to me that she was the only one who tested positive. Not Miku, did he actually? Wait, what? A child should not be around cocaine? Liberals, yeah, seriously. And again, this is the guy who was like talking about HRT for minors, talking about, you know, unregulated HRT and DIY HRT, which, you know, full disclosure, I'm not a fan of the DIY HRT, but if it's regulated by a doctor, you know, that's a different thing. But, you know, how are you going to have such a problem with DIY HRT, unregulated, and not have a problem with unregulated cocaine around your kids? You know? I'm just slashing any possible claims this is false. There's no realm of possibility a child has the blood levels of moderate use for an adult and it be false. Yeah. No, Ratsui. Her blood levels were about her blood levels were, I believe, consistent with like moderate usage for an adult. It wasn't 5 times the amount of the average consistent adult user. It was about the same as a moderate user, an adult moderate user. Nick wants to be Killdozer / Marvin Heemeyer, Lenny Bruce, and Larry Flint so badly. Thank you for the $4.95 super chat. Cat anyway. Okay. All right, let's watch this. This is the stream that he did last night after that document was released, okay? Your analysis is tricky. If you're positive and sober living, they'll give an IRL mulligan, so you have to get a follicle test. If you fail that, you're on the street in an hour after revealing results. Jeez. Also, hey, hi, Ina. How the hell is he still streaming? Well, he's still on trial and stuff, you know? What did Rekieta do now? We're just covering the fact that one of his daughters tested positive for cocaine in a hair follicle test. Oh, he's muted. Okay, let's
with StreamYard or whatever. So I somehow have to get this message out to the people that this stream's up on Rumble.
Yes, really? Oh, really? Yes, really. Can someone fill me in, please? So I don't want to go over it again because I want to make this stream something that we can cut up and upload to the YouTube channel. So, but if you want to rewind, feel free to. I go over it in detail. So.
This isn't going to be a very long stream. I've already streamed for like 30 minutes tonight. See, hold on. Rumble stream is up. Thanks, Rumble Studio. I had to switch to StreamYard because for whatever reason, Rumble Studio just doesn't have a button to start to like put you in the shot, even though it shows you're in there. I'm sure it was my fault. Legitimately, sure it was my.
His voice is torn from coke that can destroy your esophagus. Oh gods, I don't know anything about coke, so
My fault.
I'll trust
but
you on that.
It was frustrating. Here we go. Well, I'm just sending out this tweet.
And remember to like the stream, guys. Please press the like button. If you like my coverage of this content, or if you like my content in general, or my video essays, helps boost me in the algorithm if you press the like button, okay? Gets really mad at Rumble for like 5 minutes. Yeah, I saw. Okay, we're gonna fast forward a bit here.
Almost set. I promise. I promise you a really show is coming. Just hold on as I get everything ready. I have to address everything in a very specific way. I have to talk in very specific ways about those things. Typically not talking about them is what I have to do. But I have to talk a little bit about them because I talk in public for a living and people want to know what's going on, obviously.
Thank you all.
Why is it on this other channel? Rumble right now is really pissing me off. It doesn't matter. We're just going to do this. I'm going to talk for a minute, very briefly, and then I'm going to read the chats and then we'll go. This is not going to be a long stream. It was going to be a much longer stream, but first the release of information that's supposed to be protected at a very specific time, right after I announce a show and right before the show starts is something that is concerning. And of course, I will have a lawyer looking into that right away.
Yeah, we're putting skip silence on. And 1.25.
I know people want to draw conclusions from whatever's going on. And look, there's no way around it. There's nothing to say other than people will get to draw their conclusions from what they read. I'm not here to fight you guys at all. I'm not here to fight your conclusions. I'm not here to fight or justify or prove anything. I don't need to do that for you. Believe it or not, a lot of really well-meaning friends want me to do that. And these people are lawyers, which is shocking. They want me, I'll say it this way. They say, Nick, you need to do X, Y, and Z because of your YouTube channel and your online image. And my response is, sir, madam, I don't know if you know this, but the lowest priority in my life right now is my public image for the purposes of YouTube and Rumble. So any of you who want me to come out here and like do some weird grandiose apology or prostrate myself in front of.
So I will say he makes a decent point here, right? Like, I don't know. If I were involved in some sort of legal case, I feel like I wouldn't even be streaming. I don't know. But given that it's his, like, source of income, I guess he can't really ignore it. But why would you even acknowledge it on stream, right? But I will say one thing. I watched this last night, and one thing I have to give Rekieta credit for, per usual, because all lawyers are like this, or a lot of them are at least, is that he is an incredibly effective speaker. And if I were not aware of all of these details about this case and I were just watching Nick Rekieta and I just watched last night's stream, I would have found some of the stuff that he said in it very moving. So that is just one thing I have to disclose here. Yeah, he shouldn't even be online. He really should just be offline working on bettering his life for his children. I want to know why did he, like, I don't know anything about law, but, like, why did he revoke the ability to, like, for these people to see his drug tests? Like, don't you want your kids back? Like, yeah. It's true, he's even funny occasionally. I mean, look, I'll be real, like, I liked some of his coverage, and I think he is actually a very funny guy. Very, very funny guy. But it's just something to keep in mind that he is a very effective speaker when he talks about this stuff, you know? So, and he's a very good advocate for himself.
Let me just help you with my public image right now. You. Right in your mouth. I'm not here to worry about what you think about me. And that should be obvious to near anybody. And if you think it's in my character to come out and grovel before you and say, oh, I'm so sorry I let you down. I didn't let you down. I didn't pick you up. I didn't make you, and I didn't make promises to you. So if you feel let down by me, let yourself down from the stool, Robin Williams. I'm not here for you. I'm not here to own your feelings, and I'm not here to apologize to your feelings and sensibilities either. And if I did, you shouldn't respect me, because anybody who comes out like a little bitch and says, I really am worried about my public image, not my family, not my liberty, not holding government accountable, none of that, but my public image, how my public image? Well, you're probably a fat Canadian or maybe a skinny Canadian who can't fly to the right city.
Yeah, okay, so he's making some jabs at Worski and PPP here. Fat Canadian, that's a jab at PPP. Skinny Canadian who can't fly to the right city. Worski, okay. Why is he attacking me right now? Jeez, dude. Yeah. Star, if you know Bruce Rivers CLR, anything he comes out with regarding this is unimpeachable. Dude, I love Bruce Rivers. I can't even deny it. That dude is like the father figure I wish we all had. I remember I fell in love with that man the moment he was talking about like how it's not impressive to have a whole bunch of bitches. Like what really is impressive is to have a family and provide for them and be faithful to your, partner and all that. And yeah, that dude won my heart based on him to double down. Yeah. From what I understand, it's advised not to get the state anything. Nothing says I'm here to hold the government accountable, like giving your daughter coke and spurging out on the internet. So true.
Or maybe you're a doughy Minnesotan. I don't know who you are, but I'm not here to apologize to you or for anything. I am under the thumb of government at the moment, which means government gets to say whatever they want about me, and I don't get to respond. That's a place to be. We've talked about it a lot on this show. What's funny is a lot of my colleagues have talked a lot about it too, but the moment it happens, they all tuck their nuts up into their and become the biggest pack of gabbling women I've ever seen, running around, come out, apologize, bow down, bow, beg, tell everybody that you're sorry. For what? What am I sorry for? They don't know what I'm supposed to be sorry for. I don't know what I'm supposed to be sorry for. What I know is the government has accused me of some criminal acts. Those criminal acts have impacted me and my family.
Oh, Barbie, I am aware. The CPS release document is insane. I am aware. We just went over it, actually. We just went over it earlier in the stream.
Accusation from government is not a conviction. It may convict you in the eyes of people, and that's fine. If I'm convicted in your eyes, good. Go find someone else. You're now validated. I bid you adieu. I'm sorry I let you down by never promising anything.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And doing something that you didn't approve of.
So what I was saying, Barbie, is that when I brought up the fact that the 9-year-old girl was tested positive for cocaine, I brought that up to like a couple of like medical people, and like the first gut reaction is like, oh geez, I hope that kid isn't being, and like I'm not making any allegations towards Nick because I don't think he's the type to do that, but it's just something to keep in mind. It's a warning sign for a lot of like medical people when they're looking at like kids in like bad situations and stuff. There's a co-occurrence of those things. So very, very sad. So scary, very scary. So
maybe, except the thing that I'm supposed to have done still remains to be seen. I will say this, I will be holding government to its full accountability to the extent of my rights. And anybody who thinks I shouldn't do that, okay, I don't know what law channels you're watching, probably a cockeyed Koreans or something. Someone who doesn't understand the value.
Is that a dig at legal mindset? Is he Korean?
Of innocence until proven guilt. Someone who doesn't understand the value of constitutional rights. Or maybe people who just like to talk really big about not listening to government until the government comes knocking. Then suddenly, they're pussies running around in the truest definitions of a 90s faggot, crying, prostrating them.
I'm so glad I'm not on Twitch right now.
Themselves, begging for the leather to put their tongue on, like it's a big chocolate starfish of their local police chief or whatever. Sorry. You will never, ever find that attitude from me or my channel. And you'll never have me apologize to you for anything in my life other than being late to streams and being generally inept and retarded at running them. I'll apologize for that because I'm guilty of that. But anybody out there speculating right now about whether or not a government document is accurate, well, I'll let you determine if government is accurate or not. It's not up to me. It's up to the government to prove they're accurate. As for me, I have a lot to say about what is on documents that have been released. Paper copies of documents released before they're available to the public.
Yeah, he's tripling down. He is.
Case files that are protected being accessed by members of the public. That's a little strange. The timing of certain drops coming out, that's a little strange. The thinness of a search warrant's probable cause statement, very strange.
So he's not going to apologize for his 9-year-old testing positive for cocaine, like what the So basically, Imholte, what he said to Null is that let me see if I can pull it up here. I'm pretty sure he said to Null that, here it is. He said he denied that his child tested positive for cocaine. He claims the test is faulty, testing a metabolite which exists outside of the body. And as we saw, per the standards, not this one, but we looked at the company who does this testing, and they test for a metabolite that does not occur outside of the body. So yeah, and she would not be dead because the levels are consistent with an adult moderate user. So yeah, I gotta stop doing this. I gotta make this into, I gotta stop doing this. I gotta stop pausing and going backwards. Okay, maybe he can't apologize because of his lawsuit. Maybe he shouldn't have acknowledged it at all. He should have just gone on to cover a court case or something, you know, like and then anytime somebody asks him a question, just be like, yeah, I can't address anything. I'm in the middle of a court case. I can't say anything. So he is all but insinuating government is leaking docs. Thank you for the $2 super chat, Henry. Yeah, he's insinuating that this is a government conspiracy. Yeah, I don't know what to say. I mean, it's very libertarian, but I like your eye makeup star. Thank you. The metabolic can happen from external contamination. We looked at the documents from the drug testing company, and one of the things that the drug testing company says is the type of metabolites they test for, and those metabolites are not ones that can be found externally. It is only produced by the body. It's a hair follicle test. The chance of it being a false positive is very, very low.
But it's not for me to fight these things on YouTube. And anybody who suggests that I should, or that I have some duty to explain to you my legal strategy, my legal avenues for doing this, or that anything I say or don't say is somehow either an admission or an omission of some duty I owe to the general public. Anyone who's saying that, anyone who is saying that is a lying grifter in the truest, not funny sense of the word. And I have zero respect for anyone like that, especially if they call themselves a lawyer. Anyone who calls themselves a lawyer immediately demands me to run out and bend over before government. Not only shouldn't be a lawyer, they shouldn't be an American, and they shouldn't be a lot of other things.
Let me just reiterate. Here it is. Coca-ethylene, and this is one of these PowerPoints that was released by the drug testing company. Coca-ethylene is a metabolite detected in hair that is only formed when cocaine and alcohol are in a person's system at the same time. Benzoylecgonine is the most commonly tested metabolite to detect prior use of cocaine and is a unique metabolite of cocaine. No prescription medications can cause a confirmed positive. Even cocaine used in local anesthetic, used in eye, sinus, and nasal cavity surgery would not cause a positive cocaine test. And then, and false positives usually are talking about urine tests. This was not a urine test. This was a hair follicle test.
Because last I checked, we don't do that around here. I've long talked about the transparency of courts and what they're for. It's amazingly ironic to me that people hear me talk about that. They'll agree with me. The transparency of courts was always to hold government accountable, by the way, not your fellow man. It was always to hold government accountable. It was because prior to the United States, the legal system was that of the King of England. And he had the Star Chamber. He was the court. He was the enforcement arm of law, the judgment arm of law. And those courts were held in private. People's charges were private. The details about them were private. The public wasn't allowed to analyze them. I've talked about how, even though it can be embarrassing, our country was founded on the principle of distrust of its authority, distrust of its government, a healthy, necessary evil of putting a few people in charge of many, but holding them accountable and adhering to.
This is the part that I found pretty moving, is he's talking about, this is like a necessary evil. You put a whole bunch of people in charge of, well, not a whole bunch, you put a few people in charge of a lot. And as a result, you need to have all these checks, and you have to be able to, defend yourself and all of that. I found this part very moving, but I still don't think it really helps him, Let me just rewind.
Even though it can be embarrassing, and those courts were held in private. People's charges were private. The details about them were private. The public wasn't allowed to analyze them. I've talked about how, even though it can be embarrassing, our country was founded on the principle of distrust of its authority, distrust of its government, a healthy, necessary evil of putting a few people in charge of many, but holding them accountable and adhering to freedom. And the amount of pussies out there now who consistently lose that principle and say, no, actually, government must be correct at all times. baffles me. Baffles me more when they work with the government in the system and still think that way. I will not. I never will. You'll never get that from me on this channel. I will not be coming out here crying to you about something that didn't ever involve anyone here. You watch this show because for some reason it entertains you. I often wonder what it is because I couldn't watch my show. I would find it terrible. And maybe you do. And maybe that's what you like. That's cool. Maybe you find it wildly enjoyable. That's great. I'm glad. I come out here to entertain you. Now, this stream is not about entertainment, although many of you will probably be entertained by it, and that's good. This stream is one of the few real serious streams that I have to do because I will be back full-time streaming. And this was going to be the announcement for that. A little bit of recognition of the differences in the studio that I have. Well, not different. It's the same studio, but different decorations and arrangements of things. And there's still some stuff to be done on it. We're going to talk about my biggest current concern, which is I got more fan mail, but tonight's no longer appropriate for that. Yes, that's right. In the midst of all of this, I got an ethics complaint for swearing too much, which puts me at, I think, 57. I think. I lost count. It was going to be a more entertainment-focused show. I know people are going to have commentary. They're going to have questions. They're going to have demands about my situation. And I'll just have to say, all the things I'm going to say impactful to my case will be said through counsel in court. They won't be said here. You've watched this channel long enough. You should understand that. And if that's not acceptable to you, too fucking bad. There's no other way for me to do it. Right now, I am charged with a serious felony. Many of you have heard that sentence. Possibility is 25 years. It's a very unlikely outcome for someone like me.
I don't think he's
going
to get 25 years. I don't think he's going to get 25 years.
Possibility, I suppose, in the grand scheme of things. That's not something to be taken lightly. It's not something to be laughed at. People come out and they say, Nick hasn't taken accountability for his actions. And I'm like, the government hasn't proven my actions. So how can I take accountability for that which hasn't been shown? What I do know is this. I have counsel in this case. People thought I would represent myself because I guess they're retarded. I have counsel in this case. He seems like a good dude, a competent dude, and we will be going through this and doing what needs to be done. I see a lot of speculation on the internet, and I can see basically all of it has many of the major details wrong. And that's fine. Most of the details aren't for anybody. And that covers a whole lot more than the criminal case, just my life. My life story is becoming marvelously interesting, even though it's painful and really annoying.
Wasn't the case for his defamation lawsuit? I'm not super aware of his defamation lawsuit. Somebody else was suing him, right? I thought.
The time. The government will be dealt with as I guess time permits, allows. I'm not even sure how to say it. As the time becomes appropriate, government will be dealt with in course. These charges will be dealt with in course. I know what many of you are saying about these types of charges and the allegations against me. And you know what? Say what you will. Watch. You get to watch it live. You get to see what it does with me, to me. You get to see the outcome as it happens. It's pretty rare. Should be a good show for you guys. For me, it'll be one of the most stressful and horrifying times of my entire life. As I've always said, being under indictment by the government is one of the worst positions people can be in. But I'll deal with it. Because unlike groveling, sniveling commentators online who've never had to deal with any actual adversity in their lives, that's what you do. That's not what a man does. That's not what a woman does. It's not about masculinity or femininity or anything. That's about what people have to do. There are times in your life where you are faced with something that you never could have imagined, that you never could predict, that you will not be prepared for. And again, I feel like a broken ass record because I've said all of this in the context of other people. When you're under the thumb of government, you are not prepared for it. No matter what you think you are not prepared for it. They will go after you in ways that you do not expect. They will come at you with information and you won't know if it's true.
Oh, okay, that's what it was. Yeah, Nick called Monograph a child. He's losing his defamation case. Right, okay. Yeah, I haven't been following that too much. Nick, the adversity you face is how you choose to spend your trust fund. Jesus Christ, that is... You wrecked him. Holy moly. This is what MLK spoke about. So true. Nick Rekieta, the MLK of our time, okay?
And you won't be able to adequately challenge it right away. There's a process. And that process in and of itself is designed to grind you into dirt. It's designed to make you capitulate to government. Because they'll say, we have this and this and this. And you'll say, you, show me. And when you do, take a moment. When you do take a moment and you work with government and you can find this in the recently leaked documents and you cooperate by, say, asking them to come into your home, they will lie under oath to the judge. That's right, Alicia Sweep.
Okay, so he's accusing the Health and Human Services officer, Alicia Sweep, the one who came to the house and assess things for the kids, of lying under oath. Really? You're accusing this woman of lying under oath. Wow. What the LMAO? You commentary channels aren't a man like me because I exposed my 9-year-old to cocaine. You just don't get it. The government is after me. Not him doxing this poor person. Well, her name was already out there because of the documents that were leaked before. But yeah, this woman who maybe makes 60K a year. Yeah. And let's be real, I don't think she doesn't make more money for lying under oath. There's no monetary incentive there. Like, if you're a social worker, your pay is probably pretty, and I'm assuming in the state of Minnesota is probably not very good. So, she was definitely wearing a cam, making that prosecutable slander of public official. Yeah. I don't know if social workers wear cameras, but yeah, she is just doing her job. Yeah. And that's one of the things, like, we criticize CPS for letting too many things fall through the cracks. If anything, CPS in general, like, lets too much fall through the cracks. How bad was this case that CPS followed through with it, Yeah, no, I've known people who also have worked in that field, and yeah, it's a very traumatizing field to work in.
Will lie under oath to the judge. They will fabricate a situation that did not occur. They will lie about your willingness to cooperate. They will lie about things that you said. They will generate statements said by other people out of nothing because I was there and that wasn't said. They will violate the
CPS really can't do much without proof of the. Yeah, there has to be, because I knew a couple of girls who reported physical at their house to their teachers, and the teachers reported it to CPS, and then CPS showed up, and then those girls started denying it, and then CPS couldn't do anything. So, there are social workers that do and fail the system in children. I and other children in the system were failed when we were in it by our workers, but the good ones are the ones that fight for the kids. Yeah. I mean, also, a lot of social workers are overstretched, right? So there's a multitude of things that happens when all of these cases fall through the cracks. But yeah, there has to be a lot there. For the most part, being at home in what may seem like an environment is better than foster care. Yeah, that's also true. So CPS could be assigned to a case, but they know that the alternative, like foster care, is also not going to be good for the kid. So you're choosing one evil versus the other, right? But yeah, definitely, if one of the girls tested positive for coke, that is not a better situation. That is not a safe situation whatsoever. So
rules of evidence. They will violate the rules of civil procedure. They will violate the rules of juvenile procedure. And disinterested judges and very terrible attorneys will let it all go because everyone grovels at the feet of government. But I don't. If you're ever in a situation like mine, and I pray that you're not, do not allow anyone to convince you that you should grovel before government or just accept an outcome. Don't do it. Government system of punishment is designed to you.
Nick's buddy Camelot thinks Nick gave her.
And it does it mercilessly,
the cocoa
relentlessly,
is a sham medicine?
unapologetically, and it doesn't even call you good girl and spit in your mouth. It just does it. And when you're tired and bleeding on the bed, it does it again and again and again. You can't roll over until you're sore enough.
I like he's making himself to be the victim here. He's like, really, actually, guys, I'm the victim here. Okay. Like,
that's what they want you to do, is roll over. Don't. Fight for your rights. You have them. They exist for a reason, including your right to free speech. And I will sit here and I will fight for every one of those commentators' rights to be a giant coward in the face of someone else's plight. And it's amazing to watch these people that I thought were courageous quiver in fear, performatively, just to beg you for one more $20 donation, please. It's embarrassing. With that, as stated, I will not be talking about my case. I will be resuming content focused on the same things we always focus on. That content will be absent any alcohol or anything else. That content will be jovial and lighthearted most of the time, except maybe if I'm in a bad mood. Because guess what, guys? You've always gotten me, not a performative thing, not some mask, not some persona. You get me wherever I am. And sometimes I know over the past couple of years, you've gotten a dark version. You've gotten me on a really day. But hey, everybody has some days. Got me in some really good ones too. Hope that many.
Yeah, he's got to stop talking trash about people. I feel, you know, I mean, I guess, okay, sorry, I got distracted by a Twitter fight. Jeez, dude. I think he's okay to talk, but just don't talk about the case. I think what's funny, one of the funniest occurrences in this entire ordeal is that when him and Kayla were charged, the judge overseeing the case was somebody he had talked publicly on stream. And in a very vulgar manner. Like, he talked about, like, liquor coming out of her and sucking liquor out of her or whatever. And then he and his wife petitioned for a different judge. That judge, you know, approved it. Her name, I forgot her name. The one he talked about approved it. The new judge he got assigned to his case is somebody who is notoriously hard on drugs. And it's like, this dude... Oh my god, dude. You are talking already got you in trouble. Like, once. Why do you keep doing it? It was the judge for the defamation case initially. Thank you for the $1.99 super chat. Nick is confusing A-logs for the government. Yeah. I'm just like, dude, you've got to chill. Talking has landed you in so much trouble. Dude. Jennifer Fisher, that's what her name was. Yeah. That was the judge who we talked about. Had talked about liquor coming from her and talking about how she's so stupid and all of that. Yeah, and she was the judge for the defamation case. Now I remember, yeah. And yeah, and then his wife like filed a motion to have her not be the judge. So she accepted that. She, you know, removed herself from that. The guy who replaced her, very hard on drugs. So wild.
More of those with you.
That was probably the funniest moment in the case for me, at least.
That being said, I am going to switch over.
In a very unfunny situation. That was hilarious.
We're going to read all the super chats that we've got. I'm not going to answer too many questions that involve anything even close to my case. Obviously, I think you guys can understand that. Again, what's so shocking to me are all the lawyers who suddenly forgot that you can't talk about a criminal case.
In this stream,
they'll
he
tell you,
mentions
they'll say
being
it. They'll
gay
say it
jokingly a weird amount of times, by the way.
Twitter and stuff. They'll be like, oh, Nick shouldn't be talking. When I tell a joke about cops talking about my house, like, and label this clearly a joke. Like, oh my God, Nick shouldn't say that. And then they'll come out and they'll be like, Nick needs to apologize for everything he's accused of. And I'm like, accused of is the word here. Accused of. Let's let the government prove anything first.
If he lives in a small town, talking about judges who are well connected, if found guilty, he will get serious jail time. Jeez, I honestly, for, you know, for his children's sake, I hope not. But yeah, I don't know. Might be. Vulgar is the best word for how he spoke of her. Yeah.
Let's let him prove anything. Because they haven't even had an opportunity to do so. That's the best part. One day, though, I get to tell you about all of this. But right now, we have Constitution to worry about. My personal liberty is what I'm concerned with. The welfare and well-being of my family, despite the little memes about it, has always...
Are you really concerned about the welfare and well-being of your family when you're not, like, you revoked consent for them to view your drug tests, when you're, like, throwing roadblocks in the way of Health and Human Services? Is that really, do you really care about the welfare and well-being of your family? The jail time will be to send the message, and the mom will get probation. Okay, yeah. But then, yeah, then she turns into a single mom of, like, 5 kids. That's, you know? Very sad.
Always been and will always be my top priority. Anyone suggesting otherwise, well, I don't want to violate YouTube's rules about encouraging self-harm.
Can the grandparents get certified as foster parents? I think they can. I don't know. I don't know the details. I know that family members can take guardianship.
So I won't comment further on what you should do. There are 6 people in this world that have consistently mattered to me more than my own safety or anything else. And that's my wife and my children. There's a short list of people who sit just below them, and then there's every other concern on the planet. But anyone suggesting otherwise, come talk to me about it. Not at my house, though, because if you come to my house, I'll treat you like a stalker. And I'm dead serious about that. Here we go. Jim tells you. What's up, Jim? Well,
he has money saved up to float the family while he's in jail. Yeah, that might be true, but I still think that it's a little bit different. It's a little bit different when, even if you have all that money, being like a single parent is still really tough. Unless she has enough money to like hire help like 24/7. He's not divorced. They're married. I just mean like she'd be a single mom functionally if she were the only one who were on probation and he was in jail. Basically, CPS will work with a grandparent / family member to get certified. The kids are probably with them already, since in case of emergency, they will fill foster roles. Yeah, and CPS, it wants to put kids with family members over strangers, so.
Welcome back. Please support Comicsgate creator Scott McCullough's new Mech Warrior campaign, Land and See Paradise.
Hi, Glitterbell.
Nappy Soldier Neuro Funk drum and bass music producer says, this, your Las Vegas DJ, and still down for my boy to DJ the next one. Chin up, my broski. Much love. Hey, man, thank you. I'll hit you up on that. Darth Bender says, welcome back, Nick. Seize the day. Says, ban trolls. Free chat of toxic.
As someone with experience with CPS, family members get first dibs at taking custody of the kids. Yeah, I that's what I'm aware of too, but I don't know if Minnesota is different from my state. That's what I've seen with CPS as well. So
Here for the Pope.
have a good
Some
one.
people are like
Creations out of
laughing that I
Eden.
have, or like, I don't even want to say laughing.
Oh, by the way, guys, check out Glitterbell. Glitterbell is also a streamer. She's on Twitch, and yeah, she streams as well. So
Like, oh, he has Law Pope as a vanity plate? Yes. It was a funny joke when I got it. People are like, I don't know about that. It's like people's memories are like goldfish, and their ability to remember that life is still supposed to be fun. Christopher, thanks for the donation. Joshua Smith Holly says, I love all the people in here mad about Nick enjoying what America has to offer. Y'all feel betrayed but turn a blind eye to your taxpayer dollars unaliving people in other countries. Again, look, I don't know what I did to any particular person out there that's mad. I didn't do anything to you at all. I'm not even accused of doing anything to you.
oh geez. Henry says, my mom lost custody of me at 17 and my sister was 14. I'm sorry to hear that. Also, Henry Resilient is also a YouTuber. The Henry Resilient. I'm so surprised that he's in my chat. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, I've known family members as well who parents lost custody because of situations, and then other family members picked up custody. So like in my family, we took custody. But my sister went away for a year because of drugs. As far as I knew, if my other sister hadn't taken in her kid, they'd have been put in foster care. Yeah.
I'll go deal with whatever your anger management issues are, however you need to do them. Bad Luck Boy says, Aaron is 0-2 at boxing. Ouch. I don't know anything about boxing records. He always claims to be 1-1, though. Something about, like, they changed the decision later because he was beat up, but he was beat up illegally or something. I don't know. I'm not sure. But that's what he always claimed. You guys have to check that out. I'm not here to comment about Aaron Imholte or anything that he has to say. He gets to say whatever he wants. I hope he makes $1 million. Rosemary J, welcome to Paralegal Status. Same with Brandon Lesko. A Spooky Ghost says, stop neglecting your stream. We're not your kids. I don't know.
That's a rough one. That's a rough super chat to read out.
Like either of you. Angel Australia says, good to see you back, Nick. A peace homo. Corrections 101 says, looking and sounding great, Nikki. Keep it up. Thank you. Ugly Dan says, can you say yayo? I've been a fan since like 2021. Get it together, Nick. My karma went to on Reddit defending you. Let me address this real quick. This is actually really important. Some people have said to me like, hey, it's hard to defend you or this and this. Defend you. Stop.
I do have to say, one fatal error that Nick Rekieta made during the stream is even acknowledging those documents as being real, which he did, you know, so.
I never asked anybody to defend me, ever. This goes all the way back to the Vic days when people were like, Nick, I defended you online, and then people started coming after me. I'm like, please don't. Please don't. You guys have read the allegations against me, I assume. You don't need to defend me. Those allegations exist from the government. They've been made. People are not going to accept your defense of me, and they don't have to. Please don't defend me. Do you even see me defending myself? No, I'm defending myself in court. Because again, the shocking number of people asking me to come online and defend my public image must have missed the bus. And it must be a short one, I guess, because you should know that my public image is just who I am. And you should know that there's no way on earth I'm going to capitulate to a government accusation. The government has a burden. They have to meet it. Until they meet it, meet your burden. Then we'll talk. If they do, then we'll deal with that. But right now, they haven't even had to try. So until that's done, I'm not going to sit here and capitulate to anything. But the converse is, that means I don't get to defend myself. Okay, you shouldn't either. Don't put yourself out there on my behalf. I've never asked anybody to do that. I wouldn't ask you to do that. So I know your karma score on Reddit isn't important. Well, maybe it is really important. But
Okay, I'm going to fast forward because...
something I've openly talked about forever. I have a heat allergy. I get hives.
Oh, this is his explanation for the track marks that people saw, is that he has a heat allergy, he gets hives.
warm. Scratch them. Look, it's summer. In summer, I have my dude bring it down way, way low because I have a heat allergy. Something I've openly talked about forever. I have a heat allergy. I get hives when I get warm. Scratch them. Sometimes they bleed. Corrections 101 says, praying for you and your family, Nikki. Thank you. Stay strong, brother. You looking
It's just like, bro, that's the track marks? Okay.
great. Appreciate that. Anime sucks. Cope and Sneed says, hey, Nick. So I wasn't kidding when I asked if you could show this on stream and critique it. Files.catbox.mo.
Yeah, hives. He gets hives. Okay, and that's what the track marks are from. Okay.
No, sorry, I'm not doing
Rotstoy says, I have a heat allergy and get hives on the inside of my arm. They look nothing like track marks. Dude. Anything they look closer to pimples, yeah.
anything like that today. Mario Carter 13. I don't know what you said. Ugly Dance, because it was moderated out, I guess. Ugly Dance says, on behalf of a community, you're not funny anymore. Cool. Good. I didn't claim to be funny. I mean, except to me. I laugh at my jokes, but sometimes I laugh at things that aren't funny. Seize the Day sent a bunch of hearts. Beautifully said. FM. IDK anymore says, at least PP.
Look, it is wild to me that he's leaving the Joker painting up with the coked out kid allegations. Yeah, look, all I'm saying is that it really shows his taste and his character that he has one Joker painting up and then the other painting is some impressionist painting of Johnny Depp. That is crazy to me.
He doesn't have kids with coke on them. If PPP has kids, he's probably about to eat them. For Loop Media says, why?
Like, it's not just a painting of Johnny Depp. It's like somebody did some impressionist attempt at Johnny Depp, okay? It's like, yeah.
Are you grifting off your big return? I don't know what you want me to do to grift off of it, but I think I'm going to do okay. I do my thing. There's often not enough planning. You Got Felted says, here's to your legal fund. Hoping you get the full 25 years, you piece of shit. Casino always wins. Well, I got news for you.
Look, I will just say, I hope he doesn't get 25 years, okay? I hope he gets... What I want is for him to get his act together and get his kids back and be a good father, okay? I think it's a shame that somebody so talented is doing this, but it doesn't seem like he's gonna do that, you know? And so, has he considered checking himself into jail? Oh God, dude. Okay, wait, don't tell me. His paintings are 10K, plus he's talked about how much they cost him. You're telling me that he paid 10K for these paintings. You didn't even get anything custom or anything? You just got somebody recreating Johnny Depp and the Joker? Okay, all right.
It's very unlikely. Ty Beard says, you, sir, are
There's no way those are AI. Please.
Steel-eyed missile man. I'm proud to call you my friend. Hey, thanks, Ty. How you doing, buddy? Eric from Wisconsin says, love you, bro. Focus on you and yours. Forget everyone else. All that matters is family and defeating government. Love from Wisconsin. Thank you. Bernie Garcon, message.
I mean, he has always been a piece of shit. Have you seen the clips of him bragging about brutally murdering raccoon Stardust? Yeah, I thought that was actually pretty funny because I was like, this dude's a psychopath. Like, he's like, yeah, I'll leave the bodies of the raccoons around to tell the other raccoons to stay away. And I'm like, dude, what? You think the raccoons look at the raccoons like that? Look at other raccoons like that? Like, I suspect he is using the paintings and chat donos to wash money from drug deals to his locals. Like, I was like, what the f? This guy is an actual psycho. Like, when I was hearing about that raccoon story, you know? If I was a raccoon and there was a bunch of crucified raccoons around a yard, I'd go elsewhere.
It's deleted. I'm not sure. Again, I don't know what it was, but if you...
It's not fun. It's not funny that he's murdering raccoons. It's funny that he would even think of doing something like that. You know? That's what's funny to me. It's not the fact that the raccoons are murdered and laying around his yard. It's that this guy is crazy enough to do that, you know?
Sent some message that involved personal information. I don't care wherever it is on the internet. If it's information about my kids or something like that, I don't know what this one was. It's not going to hang around. Inquisitor Media says, favorite brand of SpaghettiOs. There's only one.
It is funny he went full Rambo on raccoons. Exactly. Like, what the what is wrong with you? Like, you're supposed to sell the fur, not leave the carcasses around like a serial killer. That is so true. Holy moly. Egghead, thank you for the $5 super chat. It's funny that he thinks he's conducting psychological warfare on raccoons. Yeah, he thinks the raccoons are that intelligent. Most likely they just see a body and they're like, oh, something killed it. I better stay away from this. It's not like, you kill my family. You're parading my family's body. Like, the raccoons are not thinking like that, homie. Like, what the? Like, what is going on, dude?
SpaghettiOs is a brand. It's a brand. Cody the Bum says, F yeah, Nick. McNasty says, want to ask you, Nick, about this current thing where a lot of old heads are getting bashed for misstep. Not just you, but masters and Medicare, etc. Is this just like the internet to jump on the fallen of some other BS? It's just the nature of the business. You talk about people, you're going to get talked about. You're going to make somebody mad, and then they're going to do something to you. Like sometimes things happen and people get a wrong idea in their heads and they feel justified in trying to cause you and the people that you love serious amounts of pain. That's not most people on the internet. Most people on the internet just laugh at the ongoing dumpster fire that is all over and circling around them. But there are some sad, pathetic people who can't realize their own inadequacy. When that inadequacy manifests and their life suffers consequences because their inability to be introspective, their unwillingness to self-examine or accept criticism or even self-critique, they rewrite their own history. They make up stories. They come up with a timeline and a set of facts that doesn't exist to justify their own failures. No matter how many times those failures were pointed out to them in friendly ways, they just can't do it. Someone else did it to them because it certainly couldn't be their own fault. And those are the people.
April still with him. So April and him were seen getting pizza recently. So yes, April is still with them. I mean, I started really disliking this dude around the time he started talking about how kids ruined his wife's body and openly thirsting for other women. I don't even think her body was ruined. I think her body is banging. It's banging, more banging than my body's ever been in my entire life. So, you know, I don't know what he's talking about, but yeah. He's talking about himself. Yeah, he is.
Themselves up as some sort of paragon while openly trying to damage and destroy lives of innocents. And those people will probably have to deal with the consequences of their actions at some point.
Like that projection victim mentality, yeah.
I'm not God. I just think I am.
Stardust wants Kayla, she can fix her. I can't fix her, okay? I can't deal with 5 kids. I'm sorry. I can't. I tried to babysit like 3 kids at one point, like a month or 2 ago, and that was overwhelming for me. I definitely can't see myself babysitting 5. That's crazy.
Smoking says, I'm an addict. Once an addict, always an addict. Love you, brother. Believe in you. Fuck government. I'm sorry to hear that for you, man. Look, I've seen people deal with addiction. It's really nasty. Really nasty. And I commend you on your journey. IDK anymore? Sorry, I don't know what you said. Pendar.
Yeah. Oh, I commend you on your ability to get sober and your strength. But I'm not addicted, guys. I'm not addicted, okay? I can quit anytime. I'm not addicted.
Logan Paralegal. William Trainer. Sorry, I don't know what you said. Doc Nick says, good luck with things, Nick. Looking good. Thank you. Jeff Bruno says the worst part is the hypocrisy. It's a good Norm Macdonald joke. Well, actually, I thought the worst part was the...
Oh, kids are easy. NyQuil popsicles and Benadryl brownies. Yeah, I suppose if the standard is giving your kids cocaine, then, you know.
Matthew Self says, not that I hate what you were saying, but are you reading from the screen? No. No, I could show you here. You want to see what I look at, guys? Here's what I look at. This is a screen that I'm looking at. 90% of the time, this is what I see. I usually have locals up, but right now it's not on this window. So if you want to see what I'm looking at, I'm not reading from the screen. I'm watching all the going on. I'm trying to read chats at various points. But that's that. Stinky Stink says, please keep streaming. Turkey Tom needs footage. Yeah, again, I don't think I've met Turkey Tom. I know he's met Dick Masterson or something. And cheers, I guess. Christine Hansopoulos says, I care about you and Kayla and wish you the best. Hey, thank you, Christine. Very much appreciate that. BTM Reviews, a huge super chat. Really appreciate it. Says, your friends are some of the worst people I used to.
Me, my wife, and my friend's wife are all on drugs, and there's no telling which one of us gave a 9-year-old cocaine. But the government hasn't proven anything, so this is totally unfair. Brew. How is Worski better at owning up to his issues than a lawyer? Worski, I feel like, is very, you know, one quality I like about Worski is he's willing to own up to his shit, you know? And when it comes to stuff like this, in fact, he probably is one of the best people to watch for this because he knows what it's like to be an addict. And he knows what it's like to be down that hole and to be at rock bottom, you know? So, yeah, anybody who's been that, I haven't been there, you know? I will be completely honest. I don't know what that's like. I've had friends who've been there, but yeah, you know, it's interesting, you know? So, wait, who's Worski? Andy Worski, PPP? Kino Casino on Kick. They cover a lot of this. Did you see Miss Kiff is ripping off Turkey Tom now? See that? Well, I think I might have seen something about it. That's super funny. Stardust's only addiction is to NSFW minion memes. So true.
Think we're smarter than me. Guess I was wrong because I never determined your guilt until I hear all sides of the court. Love you and Lady Rackets since Nashville. Hey, thank you.
I've been there opioid free since July 2016. Hell yeah, Keldosh. Great job. Very proud. Also, hi Neo Prototype. Oh my gosh, I made it to a live. Hello, welcome. You'll have to rewind this stream because I'm trying to make this stream something I can later cut up into a video.
Thank you. Isn't that amazing? Charitard says, is April still giving that Hoover Deluxe treatment? That month is long gone. I'm not sure what you're talking about there. Schwamp Donkey, message deleted. Johnny Rocket says, potentially criminal tested positive for jelly donuts and cum.
Oh
That was rude. That was not very uncouth of you. Buckmaster says, if Harambe was here, he would be disappointed. Well, he's not. He's dead. Dark Blue G, whatever the truth of your case, you're correct that we should remember to be wary of government and motives regardless of the case. Often we don't. Chininator says, personally, I like your trial streams more than these late night streams. Well, that was part of the announcement, but that'll have to wait a little bit because I'm a bit incensed tonight. Pendar says, innocent until proven guilty, Pandrew. Charlie Shee says, been there with the law, not fun. I sympathize with your current plight in life. Best wishes, Nick. Thank you. Smokin says, I believe in you. Angel Australia says, respect, Nick. Wishing all the best for you and your family. Fook.
Okay, so I think this is just him going over chats and stuff. Hi, Doomer Live. How's it going? Okay, I don't know anything about this, what you're talking about. You guys know way more about this locale lore than I do, okay? So.
Guess I'll live through the fentanyl then. James Stewart says, unbreaded Nick arc is...
Okay, so I think the rest of this is just him replying to his chat. I think we've seen all we really need to see here. Last thing I want to leave you guys with, okay, regarding this whole thing is here. Well, before we get to that, this. I had this link, and I don't know if we reviewed it yet. But Rekieta messaged Josh out of nowhere. Yeah, we already reviewed that. Okay, there is... Stars, I heard low count. I immediately suggest looking into Cyrax and Andy Ditch. People have been telling me forever to look into Cyrax. Okay. Ethan Ralph grabs Skater's old broom to do his best sweep for Nick Rekieta. He suggests Rekieta release the document as a 4D chess move in order to make Kiwi Farms look bad. More importantly, to make a false accusation against the state of Minnesota. It's just... Okay.
Where I might be going with this?
Okay. Let's watch this.
What if there is something we're not thinking about that I wasn't thinking about?
Why is this doing this?
What if there is something we're not thinking about that
Sorry, give me a second, guys. Let me rewind this. Okay.
is something we're not thinking about that What if there's one other theory out there?
What's the theory,
It would be
Ethan?
the most Machiavellian of all time, by the
theory,
way.
Ethan?
And I noted this last night that this document, if you scroll up, we're on number 19 there. Let me scroll up. I'm gonna go fast. This is dated June the 7th. Now, the courthouse had access to this document as well. But, and again, certainly I wouldn't accuse Nick of this, but what if, say for instance, you also dumb?
Okay, so okay, he's saying that somebody who knew this was a fake positive leaked it, and then everybody else would look really dumb when it comes out that it's a fake positive. I think that's a little bit far-fetched. I have no idea. It's just a little bit far-fetched, if you ask me. And yeah, of course, Dick Masterson's been doing some pretty crazy sweeping.
What if there...
Let me see if I can go on. Let me just go to... Actually, let me just go to my Twitter. I personally suspect that Biden crime family... True. So true. I mean, him and Biden, Hunter Biden, are the same now, right? He was very critical of Hunter Biden. But him and Hunter Biden are now very similar. Very similar. Okay, I'm sorry. This is me freaking out about the Kendrick stuff and Tyler Creator. Oh, wait. No, where is it? It was probably up further, actually. If it were a false positive, would the reading really be over 5,000? And then, yes, a true positive 5,000 PGM would mean a 9-year-old girl has been doing heroic amounts of cocaine every day for a month. It defies reason. What do people think a false positive looks like? So this is not actually accurate. It's not heroic amounts of cocaine every day for a month. The 5,000 means that she basically has the equivalent levels of like a moderate adult drug user. So 500 is literally for the false positive. I don't know that this is working for Dick Masterson. I know he wants to go to bat for his friends, but I feel like everybody is now latching on to him, you know, turning him into a little cow. That's why they have the cutoff. Yeah, 5,000 is like, this kid has been using it for an extended period of time. Here's Matt Plastique saying this. No, 5,000 PG per M is equivalent to 5 NG per M, which is 10 times the cutoff level, indicating the low end of medium use. This level is may also read higher due to the young age, as the cocaine binds better to hair with more pigment, and hair pigment decreases with age. A super interesting Post by Matt Plastique. Yeah. And I agree with this. 5,000 is not, again, if we want to go over it one more time, 5,000 is not a false positive for a hair sample. It requires metabolites of coke, meaning it is not contact and not a false positive. Yeah. And if you go here, this is again the document that was found from Minnesota Monitoring Incorporated, which is the group that did the testing on the hair follicles. And what they say about cocaine is that they test for benzoylecgonine is the most commonly tested metabolite to detect prior use of cocaine and is a unique metabolite of cocaine. No prescription medications can cause a confirmed positive. Cocaine is a local anesthetic used in eye, sinus, and nasal cavity surgery, but would not cause a positive cocaine test. So it is even the cocaine that is used as an anesthetic would not cause a positive cocaine test. Cocaethylene is a metabolite, another one that they test for, detected in hair that is only formed when cocaine and alcohol are in a person's system at the same time. And there is, how far can, hair tests. Hair testing analyzes the hair sample for parent drugs and their metabolites. The metabolite is only produced by the body and cannot be an environmental contaminant. So, yeah. Meaning it had to be consistent metabolizing of the substance since coke does not stay in the urine long enough. Yeah. Nick had a health emergency a few months ago. Kiwi thinks his kid got into the stash and fell sick. Jeez. Only a hair follicle sample can measure such metabolic activity. Yeah. So anyways, that is my current summary of the developments in the Nick Rekieta situation. My next stream is going to be Saturday. And it's going to be the birthday stream. And during that stream, we're going to go over the I'm Alex drama, plus any updates in the Nick Rekieta saga as well. So I will leave this VOD up so people can watch it, catch up on it. But also, I will cut it up into a more digestible VOD. And I need to put together like just a summary of the entire Rekieta situation, because last time I tried to do a stream just summarizing the entire Rekieta situation, I think I just kept getting sidetracked. So I'll figure it out. But by the way, this is his favorite kid. He's talked in the past how much she reminds him of himself. Also, the kid has night terrors and behavioral issues. Yeah. Whose birthday is it? Saturday. Well, technically my birthday was a week ago, but I was away, so I wanted to do a birthday stream. So Saturday we will be doing the birthday stream, and it'll still be like a normal stream. I'll just be saying it's my birthday. so that's what we're doing Saturday. But I am going to bid you all adieu. Thank you all for joining me for this stream. I hope you guys liked it. Let's see who is online right now. 1 second. Who's online? Dick Masterson rematch when? I think I would need to do way more reading up on hair tests to do another rematch. Cola does not stay in urine. Cola metabolizes faster than weed. And so to ascertain if someone has done coke in the past week, a hair sample is required. Yeah. Thank you all for the birthday wishes. I'll see you on Saturday, okay? Saturday, 3 p.m. I think is when we're going to go live. But I will keep you all updated. Thank you. I hope you like the stream. I hope this is a good summary of the updates that have happened.